Nothing destroys confidence faster than a shank around the green. It shows up out of nowhere and destroys things for the rest of the round. In this video I'm going to show you the 3 reasons it happens, 3 simple ways to fix those issues, and a few drills to make sure it never happens again. And don't forget to stay to the end where I'll give you a couple of little bonus pieces. 1, a swing where you really shouldn't be able to shank it, and 2, longer wedge shots and why you might start shanking it when the range of shot grows. So let's jump in. Put very simply, a shank is when the ball hits too close to the heel, you catch the holes or the ball shoots off at 45 degrees to the right. So essentially the sweet spot is too far out. So I've put this stick in the ground right here just to illustrate the point. When the club gets to the ball, the sweet spot is too far out away from me. Okay, now you can get there in a multitude of ways, and that's the problem. I'm going to show you the 3 primary reasons why it happens. Number 1 is path. Now the path could be, and this is kind of reason 1.1 and 1.2, it could be too far into out, so the club travels outwards too much and the heel hits the golf ball, or it could be too far out early and doesn't go left enough to stop the heel hitting the ball. So that's club path. The second one we're going to go with is club face. So the club face angle starts to open up. You lose this width here. As more the face opens, it gets narrower, 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 and eventually you have a very small surface area to hit from, and the heel will get to the ball way before the part of the club you want to. The third reason I'm going to show you from front camera here, in combination with that camera. If the swing starts to get too wide, so the radius of this circle starts to lengthen, it's good to imagine things as a big circle that can shrink or grow. The wider that circle gets, even if it's on a pretty good path or trajectory from this side, if it gets wide at the wrong time, the sweet spot's going to be further out and you're going to catch it in the heel. So the radius of the swing is a big deal. It could get wider with the wrists, or it could be the arm lengthening out too much. Either or, maybe even a bit of both, gets that club head out really quickly. First thing to check is your club path to make sure that the club head is not too far out at the wrong time or too far in. All right, ideally we'd like the club head to be on the hands or close to when the shaft is parallel on the downswing. That's a pretty safe area. A little bit this way, a little bit this way is okay. Pretty safe area to have the club head. When it kicks out too much, we've got a lot to deal with. When it's way too far in again, we've got to get the club head out to the golf ball somehow. You could drag it and then you're in the heel really quickly. All that said, you could be in and you could be out and still not shank it. So let's show you how to deal with that in case you can't fix the downswing path as effectively as maybe you'd like to. If my club head is quite a long way inside here, the issue I've got is that my hands will tend to want to drive out towards the golf ball for a long time and I'll lead the club head in this way. If you wanted to build the ultimate non-shank combination, you'd actually have the club head quite a long way in, and then you start to focus on moving this end of the club, the butt, inwards as you come through, so the club head never makes it out nearly as far as it could. Let's go a quick demo. This should be miles out the toe. So if I'm a long way in and I pull this end of the club in towards my left leg, as you'll see from here, the sweet spot's really going to struggle to get out to the golf ball. May even get a toe shank if I do it really well. On demand. Let's tone it down a little bit. In, butt of the club to left leg, there's no way I can hit the heel. Absolutely not a problem. But not everybody wants to hit it out of the toe all day long. So how about the club head that is out? We'll go with this one. So this is the player where the club head kicks out too much and they struggle to get the club to move in enough, in time, and get the heel of the club this way. Probably the more common shank out of the two, but it can still work. All I have to do is match where this is with where the club head is. So I'm going to go outside my hands this time. If my hands go down the target line from here, I am dead. So I'm going to put the club head out and then I'm going to move the butt of the club, again, left of my left leg. The more out I get the club head, the more left I need to go with my hands. So it becomes more choppy, more cutty. So we're going to try and kick this thing out too much, left with the hands. Bit of a pull, but strike, yep, not a problem at all, not even close to the heel. Let's move on to the club face quite quickly. So if I come down and I try and drag things, so if I'm trying to get lag, lean the club a lot, but I do it with a club face that is twisted back and open, let's say for a second, you've opened the club face up going back for whatever reason, then you drag it, you're pulling a lot of heel into the golf ball, and you end up with that narrow face profile like I just showed you. So the quick fix there to open a club face is to make sure that you don't open it going back. All right, for some that is a closed club face, for me it's square. If I go like this, turn to my right, go back into posture, where's leading edge? It's turned down, that club face hasn't rotated. So if I keep the club face feeling like it's facing the ground, I'm not going to shank it because the club face is too open for my path. Again, no problem. But let's say for a second, you do want an open club face. You need to hit the ball higher, and this is where shanks really start to kick in with players because of that face profile. The more open I have the face, the more to the left I'm generally going to have to swing, because I need that heel moving left of the golf ball. I need it moving inwards through impact. I can't have it going down the target line. I definitely can't have it going to the right, because then I've got all kinds of problems. So I've got this nice narrow face profile. I'm going to move the butt of the club left of my left leg. And again, it's going to be a higher shot, of course. It gets really hard to shank it. So you have to match the trajectory of this with the face angle. Let's move on to number 3, the circle radius you swing getting wider out towards the golf ball. 2 ways it can happen. One with the wrist, everything getting a little bit too active this way. Another with the elbow, things getting too wide here. I'm going to work on the assumption that you're not moving your whole body closer to the golf ball. I mean, that's low-hanging fruit. We can fix that really easily. Sit yourself in your heels. Don't get close to the ball. Keep your head back. All that stuff. Simple stuff. Radius a little bit harder, because a lot of players are trying to release the club out more than they should with these shots, and that makes the swing wider. If you want to do that, you've got to make sure you have space to do it. So maybe set yourself a little bit further back, maybe lengthen out these levers a bit at address. Then you can throw it in a sweet spot. It's not going to get out too far. But for people who are not trying to do that and don't want to do it, they want to lean the club a little bit more, this fits perfect. If I make a backswing and narrow my radius up a little bit so things get a touch narrower here, then I hold this and I make sure I control my elbow and arm, that doesn't drive out towards the ball. I'm going to have this narrow radius swing. I can move the butt of the club a little bit left. I'm never going to shank it. There is just no chance. Very simple. If you make things narrower, no throw, no push, you pull the butt of the club to your left, it's going to be out of the toe. You're actually going to start complaining that you're missing the grooves. Anti-shank drills. Let's go with the old school, the obvious. Let's do the 2 golf balls. One in here, just enough space to hit it. And my goal here is to make sure that I do miss this one. Real old school stuff, really easy. Get a few reps in, try and get good feels from it. And that's what's key with the drill. You're not going to suddenly stop shanking it because you've done 1,000 reps. That's going to take a while. You'll stop shanking because you identify a feel that stops you hitting that second golf ball. But let's keep the radius narrower. We're going to get this on the club here. I'm going to set myself up. I'm going to get the stick off my body on the way back. I'm going to keep it off me on the way through. If I do this, you see it towards this camera, my radius can't get wider. Narrow, keep it narrow, keep the stick off my body. Stick moves left, can't shank it. And as a bonus last resort concept, let's go with a swing style that is really hard to shank it with. We're going to go super vertical on the swing. So I'm going to grip down the club. I'm going to set myself up pretty tall, not necessarily really close, but pretty tall. And if I swing on a very vertical angle, I'm going to find it very hard to send the club out off plane or over plane. It's going to be hard to come underneath. You think about the Ferris wheel, it's this way. Toe down, square face, nice and tall. Grip down so you get the shaft as vertical as you possibly can, and then make a swing that feels like a Ferris wheel. As these wedge shots get longer, there is a speed requirement, so you need to put more force into the golf club and into the golf ball. The problem is that can create some issues with the radius that we've spoken about, and also the swing direction. So a very common one would be for the right arm to start to really drive and thrust and push the club towards target. So going more this way can do a couple of things. One, it can push the heel out too far, so it makes the radius wider. 2, it can also stop the butt of the club bending in enough to accommodate what can be quite a functional swing plane. Conversely, there's also the player that tries to throw the club this way. We actually want more hand speed versus club speed. Obviously both of those things, driving with the right arm and throwing the club head, are going to compromise how far away from you the sweet spot is, and it's going to be further out. You're going to start shanking. So let's just say we don't really want this one. Okay, it doesn't produce a good wedge flight anyway, so just eradicate that, keep things narrow. For the drivers with the trail arm, so we'll go to that back flag, it's desirable. You need to drive the trail arm to get the speed in the hands, to get the speed into the club head, but you don't want to drive it down the target line and away from you. You actually want to drive it to the left. So more left pocket, and if anything, actually left and slightly up. So I can start to get the speed in the handle. As long as I move the handle left and get the speed, I won't break that barrier. Let's go back flag. It's only 30 yards, so I don't need a lot of speed. I'll open the face a little bit, so I need a bit more. So I'm going to drive the right arm, but I'm going to make sure I direct it this way. Okay, so a higher flight as needed. Got the face open as well, and don't forget, face open, less hitting area. Need things to move this way more. So drive the right arm, but it can't be down the target line. It has to be left of target. So there you go. That's how you get more speed into the system without the sweet spot moving out and breaking that barrier. How to not shank it. In a nutshell, a few very quick reasons as why it happens, a few quick fixes, and hopefully no more shanks for you. Now, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to visit wedgematrix.com, where we have an online academy with so much more information like this. It goes much deeper and will help every part of your short game and bring your scores tumbling down.